Physical security is all about delay. We want to slow down an intruder just so it takes him longer to do something, to break into our facility, to defeat our locks. And the longer it takes him, the better chance we have, of course, to detect him and then engage him in some way, arrest him or shoot him or sick the dogs on him. Now, a lot of locks, like these military issue ones you see here, we commonly use these to secure our ammunition bunkers, our weapons, magazines, very high security, and these are going to delay you for quite some time. So these have an intimidation factor, because when a criminal sees one of these high quality locks, he's going to say, holy crap, I got to find another way in because it's going to take me forever to try to cut through these. Unfortunately, these cost several $100s each, maybe more than that. I have no idea what we paid or what the government paid for them. We can't all afford these, and they're not that common. They're very difficult to pick, but we just don't have the luxury of spending $1,000 for a lock. Most of us are stuck with something like this. A little more common, I think we all see these all the time. The problem with these, of course, is that they, in their current condition, they really don't resist a criminal's attacks very long. They don't delay him. And there's a couple of ways that criminals can get through these. He can pick them. Comes with a 5-pin lock. It's a nice lock. It has high security pins, spools. It's got some serrated pins in there, so it takes some pretty serious skill to pick through that 5-pin lock, but it can still be done in a pretty short period of time. You've seen me do that and seen others do that on YouTube, I'm sure hundreds of times. The thing that really worries me about these particular locks is that there are bypasses out there for them. Now bypasses, I've covered that in another video, but just to suffice to say, this is one made by Peterson, but this one's I think it's out of patent. There are other manufacturers making these now. And a bypass simply goes through the keyway, and it will bypass the locking mechanism, if I can get it to cooperate, and then it will rotate the cam, as you see here. So, newer locks, like this one was made in 2012, this is the anniversary edition, it might require an extra step. We can still use the bypass tool, but before we do that, we have to use this wafer breaker tool, because inside of there is one of these small wafers, and we have to use these bypass tools, or these wafer breakers, to knock a hole in it so that it looks more like this one. And once we've knocked a hole in it with these tools, then we can take our, get everything together here, we can take our defeat tool, or our bypass tool, with the hole knocked in the back, and now we can do it. We can slide it through. Now, does that delay me? Yes, it does. If I choose to break into your facility, I can still defeat this. But now, instead of simply using a bypass, now I have this extra step. I've got to use these disc breakers to break through, but I'm still going to get in. If I can get my coordination together this morning, and I'm still going to defeat your lock in fairly quickly, about within 3 or 4 minutes. What I like to talk about is ways we can harden these up. We still can't afford $1,000 for a lock, so this is what we're stuck with. Now, I don't want you to think that's a bad thing. These are very high quality steel locks, very durable hafts, all hardened steel. It's the internal mechanism that's giving us problems. So there's a couple of things we can do to toughen it up, to give us more time to defeat that criminal. The first area that we like to look at, when I get these locks, I don't throw them away. The first thing I do, get some focus going here. The first thing I do is, of course, I have to rekey them. If somebody's, for example, super glued it, I have to put a new core in it. I'll put a new key. You'll notice that these come from the factory with 5 of these holes populated. 5 very high quality security pins. For some reason, and I don't know if it's a cost-saving measure or what, they always leave this last one empty. And that makes absolutely no sense. Why would you dumb down a very high quality lock by leaving 20% of the cylinders empty? So the first thing I do is I'll populate that 6th one. So if you choose to pick one of the locks that I've worked on, now you have to defeat that extra pin, and we all know it takes longer to defeat a 6-pin high security lock than a 5-pinner. Well, that still doesn't protect you from the bypass tools. So here's the other thing that I like to look at, and that is the discs that go onto the back. When it comes from the factory, they take one of these stainless steel discs, which is 10 thousandths of an inch thick, and they put it on the back. Now, of course, we've already seen that those can be punched through. They're tough. It's stainless steel, but it's not immune to penetration. You'll also notice there's a lot of room on the back of this lock. There's no reason that disc can't be thicker to make it even tougher or even impenetrable. Well, American Lock doesn't want to give us doesn't want to manufacture a new wafer, but when you buy them, they're very cheap. I think it's like $1 for a bag, and there's 10 of them inside of there. So why don't we make our own wafers? And the way I do it when I harden up these locks is I'll take multiples and put them on there. And I usually will put 3 and sometimes even 4 on the back. So now, instead of 10 thousandths of an inch thick, now I've got 30 or 40 thousandths of an inch thick. And I can tell you from experience, even though these are very tough tools, and as I said, they're tougher than woodpecker lips, this is only 50 thousandths of an inch thick. It will not penetrate 2 or 3 or 4 of these. Absolutely not. So by doing this, we will never bypass this lock. Why American doesn't do this is, well, I can tell you why. When you assemble these locks, it's not easy to put them, you have to align them and then slide them up into the hole. And if you don't do it perfectly, you'll bump them and these discs will fall off like that, and then they fall all over the workbench. So it takes extra assembly time to get it together. You can do it, it just takes a little bit of extra time, a little bit of extra care, but if you increase the number of pins to 6 and you increase the number of wafers to 3 or even 4, it will still function perfectly, except now you've delayed the intruder that much longer and you've turned a good lock into an excellent lock. Anyway, it works on all American padlocks. Doesn't matter what kind, they can all be toughened up to give a little more resistance to penetration. Anyway, thank you for your time. Stay safe and stay legal.